From demons appearing in the suburban streets of Phoenix to century-old photos with apparitions that don't make any sense, here are 5 real demon photos that nobody can explain. Number 5 on this list is a dark-winged demon. This picture was posted by Richard Christensen on his Facebook account several years ago in 2017. On the post, he commented asking, "What the hell do you see in this picture for reals? Anybody?" The internet immediately exploded with responses, and the post was shared thousands and thousands of times. Various explanations from people emerged in the comments. The common explanation is that the picture was doctored and that Richard had photoshopped the picture to create the outline of what looks to be something demonic and evil. Richard claimed that this wasn't the case though, and that it was an authentic photograph. Another excuse was just poor lighting, and that's what created this demon-shaped shadow. But frankly, I don't see how lighting could be responsible for this though. That is a very specific outline, and I have no idea how some poor lighting could make such a distinguished shadow like that. One other person actually suggested that it was just the outline of a palm tree, but I've never seen any palm trees that look like that before, so I'm gonna rule that one out too. Now, this whole time I've been assuming that this creature in the photo is inherently evil, but for all we know, that could also be an angel. Angels have wings too, and considering we can't make out its distinct features, it could be possible that that's the case here. However, there's also something very intimidating and imposing with the way that creature is standing and holding itself. It certainly doesn't look safe and reassuring like an angel might. No, it looks far more demonic than anything else. What it's doing in a suburban area of Phoenix, Arizona is anyone's guess, but whatever it is would be something that I'd be avoiding at all costs. Honestly surprised that Richard even managed to capture a photo at all. If that was me, then I'd be hightailing it out of there. Number 4 on this list is the SS Watertown Ghosts. This is a famous picture captured on film from 1924 that seems to depict 2 demons or 2 ghosts on it. Trust Yourself writes, Seaman James Courtney and Michael Meehan were assigned to clean out a cargo tank. While they were doing this, they were overcome by gas fumes and died before help could reach them. Following the tradition of the sea, their bodies were committed to the ocean on December 4th. The following day, just before dusk, the entire ship was in uproar when the heads of the 2 dead seamen were clearly seen on board the ship and later in the sea. Thereafter, the ghost faces were frequently seen. A snapshot was taken and the camera, with film intact and untouched inside, was handed to Captain Keith Tracy for safekeeping. The sightings of these faces kept being seen years after the photo was taken, but slowly as time went on, they became less and less frequent. The film was produced long after the sightings actually happened, but as you can clearly see, there are 2 very demonic looking faces in the picture. Their faces look distorted and honestly as if they're coming straight out of hell. Their eyeballs are missing and their mouths kind of look like black holes. I have no idea how they would have staged such a photo if potentially you think that could be an explanation for this. No one's been able to explain this picture to date, and without any new information, it's probably going to stay that way. Number 3 on this list is the Spectre of Newby Church. The Spectre of Newby Church is definitely one of the most well-known ghostly photos in human history. This one is scary as all holy hell and would honestly warrant a serious call to some Ghostbusters if I was running said church. The picture is taken in the Church of Christ the Consoler, which is found in North Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. The image was captured by Reverend Kenneth F. Lord in 1963 and showcases one of the scariest demons there is. The demon in the photo resembles a doctor during the plague with the long beaked mask on and the dark black robes. One could also make the argument that this apparition also resembles death itself though, which is a pretty terrifying thought. Now, some people have chalked the photo up to a simple double exposure error from the camera, but Reverend Kenneth F. Lord truly believes that there was some kind of demonic spirit present when he took the photo. Some skeptics have come back and bashed the Reverend, saying that this photo had to have been doctored and that he must have had his friend step in and act as the figure. But once again, he swears it isn't the case. I suppose that I could see the double exposure thing, like it's possible that that might be the reason, but I definitely don't believe that the Reverend would purposely doctor the photo. Why on earth would he want to start a legend that his own church is haunted by a demon? It just doesn't make any sense. In circles that believe in paranormal activity and demons, this picture is still getting talked about as being potential proof of their existence. I'm not personally convinced that it's conclusive evidence, but I also don't think that we can write it off either. Number 2 on this list is the Cooper photograph. The Cooper photograph is one of the most most famous pictures with a demonic creature that simply can't be explained. I actually probably shouldn't say demonic creature because we don't know for sure, but the photo definitely captures something paranormal in it. In the mid-1950s, the Cooper family purchased a home in Texas. This home had been there for quite some time and had a deep history to it. On the first evening that the family was moved in, Mr. Cooper had his wife, mother, and 2 children positioned in the kitchen for a photograph to commemorate the first night in their new home. The family was happy and all smiling, but that's just because nobody had any idea what was lurking behind them. Time passed and the family was happy in their new home. Then after a few weeks living there, when Mr. Cooper's film had filled up, he took it to the local pharmacy to get it developed. Then he came back a week later and discovered one of the creepiest pictures in history. In the entire left half of the photo, it looks as if a person is suspended in midair upside down. They look like they're hanging from the ceiling as if some higher power was holding them from their legs. The face is totally blurred out and just looks dark and eerie. If I didn't know any better, then I'd say the family hoisted a dead body up there and took the picture while it was hanging from the ceiling. Mr. Cooper and everyone in that photo swears that they never saw anything and were totally alone in that room. So what is this ghostly or demonic apparition that decided to visit them on their first move-in? Is it possible that the camera roll just messed up or the film got corrupted? Honestly, maybe, but how does the film get corrupted in such a way that it's in the exact form of someone's body hanging from the ceiling? Maybe they just happened to move into a home inhabited by the ghost of a gymnast and caught it mid-routine. This picture's probably one that we're never gonna fully know the answer to. Number 1 on this list is the Brown Lady. The Brown Lady is the ghost that haunts Rainman Hall in England. It's one of the most famous hauntings in the country due to this image that was captured of her back in 1936. Wikipedia writes, according to legend, the Brown Lady of Rainman Hall is the ghost of Lady Dorothy Walpole, the sister of Robert Walpole, generally regarded as the first Prime Minister of Great Britain. She was the second wife of Charles Townshend, who was notorious for his violent temper. The story says that when Townshend discovered that his wife had committed adultery with Lord Wharton, he punished her by locking her in her rooms in the family home, Rainman Hall. According to Mary Wortley Montagu, Dorothy was in fact entrapped by the Countess of Wharton. She invited Dorothy over to stay for a few days, knowing that her husband would never allow her to leave, not even to see her children. She remained at Rainman Hall until her death in 1726 from smallpox. The first sighting of this ghost was roughly 100 years later in 1835 by Lucia C. Stone. She said that the ghost had empty eye sockets and her blank face glowed. These legends continued as the years passed until this photo was released and everybody lost their minds. Once again, the excuse of double exposure has been thrown around as a possible reason, but many people who were there believe it to be real. Corrupt film might make sense for a photo that doesn't have a legend already circulating around it, but it feels like too crazy of a coincidence to have had ghostly sightings for over a century and then also a picture in that exact spot have double exposure happen to it. Especially when the ghost or demon that appears in the photo looks identical to the descriptions people have reported over the years of Lady Dorothy Walpole. Comment down below what you guys think about this picture. I personally tend to believe this one a bit more than some of the other ones on this list, but I want to hear your thoughts. Well, there you have it, guys. That is our list of the top 5 real demon photographs that just nobody can explain. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this video, and if you're familiar with any crazy demonic photos that can't be explained as well, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I'll catch you next time.